And then as you exhale, everything softly, slowly releases. Inhale, low belly, ribs, chest, soften everything, fill up. Exhale, control the bottom of your exhale. Inhale. Buzz. Exhale. Bring all, sometimes a twist. So with these knees here, take your knees all the way over to the arch to holding a space of inquiry for your body. And just as long as you are pressing, you're actively pressing, and you are getting a deep stretch here along the back of the hamstring, then great. Now, as you are here, keep breathing. Try to draw your chin down towards your chest. So long spine, draw the top of the head forward. Breathe in one more time. Okay, now release. You can circle out your right ankle, chin, and then switch sides. So this is meant to be very active, a lot of effort in the hamstring stretch. So, and press up, hold here, okay, and then bring the core into this. Press down with the core, the low back, rock and roll up and down the length until you come up to a. So cross your ankles, sit up tall, take your hands maybe to the tops of the knees. Okay, we're going to just start with a little bit of left hand to your right knee and twist. Every inhale is an opportunity to lengthen and twist, and every exhale is an opportunity to deepen. So like I am doing here, keep your chin in line with your chest. So where my chest goes, my chin stays. So maybe we give the neck a break here to begin with. Inhale, lengthen, exhale. Just working from hips to shoulders. Come up to center, inhale, and then twist to the left, exhale. Again, lengthen, resist the urge to just like crane the neck back. Exhale, work from hips to shoulders. One thing that looks like it along the left side of your body and lower to the elbow. So I'm just gonna go a little lower this way or stay up on the hand. So over to the left. Now notice here where there is room to really press the right hip down, keep the right hip rooted, and then rotate the chest a little bit, just a little bit. So you're opening the chest up. Now reach here with the fingers overhead, feels all the way to the outside of the right hip. Inhale, look up, breathe in, and then exhale, stay here. And on an inhale, you rise up to center. When you're ready, switch sides. Up and over, and be careful, be mindful not to round and collapse here. Don't go so low that you start to collapse. So you want to stay here, and maybe you're just here. As long as you have your chest open and you're creating a lot of space in this left side body, you stay here. It's not about how low you go, it's about creating space. So this does nothing to create space for my chest, okay? Open up, turn the chest out, breathe in and out, and then come back up to center. Good. From where you're at, roll over your knees and come into child's pose. So child's pose is one of our opening poses, common in most every yoga class. It's a great way to start to warm up or loosen up the hips. So take your knees really wide, your big toes together to touch back here. Sit your hips back towards your heels. They don't have to come all the way to the heels. And walk the hands out towards the top of the mat. Now when I drop my forehead to the mat, my forehead hits the mat and I am supported by the floor here. If your head is close to the mat but not touching, maybe you have to stack your hands and let your forehead rest on top of your hands. Wherever you are, take 3 deep breaths. Inhale, expand your low belly, your ribs, your chest. And then exhale, feel this contraction at the bottom. Breathe in. Breathe out. Classes with me, you know that this gets a little bit weird. You're going to do whatever feels good for your hips, your shoulders, your torso. Just settle in intuitively and press everything down in a way. So this is an active posture. Knees can be really bent. Heels can be way off the floor. The goal here is not to have the legs straight, right, at the expense of everything else. So sometimes you straighten your legs and your body goes forward, and this is very uncomfortable. So bend your knees and give yourself some space. Send your hips back. Soften the head and the neck, the face, and be here, okay? Breathe in.
Breathe out. Try to set your gaze, your focus, your eyes on one point between your heels at the back edge of your mat to encourage the head to go down. Okay? You don't need to see me here for this. Just listen. It's also one of my biggest blocks to creating online or video content is that it's counterintuitive that you would be having to look up and look at a screen and look at somebody else to know where you're going. So when I practice or when I teach at the studio, I don't embody the poses on my mat because you don't need to see me do it for yourself to do it. You just have to listen to the cues and just be in listening. Okay, are we ready to move out of this? Walk your feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold now first. So we go through poses like that, and then we begin to warm up the body through sun A's. So that's what we're going to work to do now. You're going to try to work to connect breath to movement here. So inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale as you fold. So it's a little movement, big breath. Inhale, lengthen, take the whole breath to get there. Lift your shoulders up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, one more time. Hands to heart center. Tadasana. Okay, listen to the sound of your breath as you inhale, lengthen. Lift your chin off your chest. Exhale, plant your hands, step to either supported push-up, low belly in, hips forward, shoulders over wrists, or high push-up. Inhale here. Exhale, you're gonna lower to your belly this time. So pull the elbows in towards the ribs and then lower all the way down. Untuck the toes, Cobra pose, inhale. Roll the chest forward, lift the chin. Tuck your toes, go back. With eyes go to the same point at the back edge of the mat. Breathe in. Exhale. Consider this pose like home base as we start to get into a practice. Inhale. Exhale. Come up onto your toes and make your way any way you get there, all the way to the top of the mat. Lengthen your spine and then fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Sun A, again, exhale, fold. One breath per movement. Inhale, lengthen, look forward, push up. Engage all the muscles in your quadriceps. Exhale to lower, maybe halfway down and hover now. So chaturanga arms look like this. You can lower the knees to support or stay as you are. Cobra or upward facing dog here. So upward facing dog, thighs up the mat. Shoulders down away from your ears. Downward facing dog. Good. Reset here. Inhale. Exhale. Now look to the top of your mat and go there. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Big toes are together to touch. If you need your feet wider, you can do that. Bring your hands to heart center here. And then sit your hips low. Then lean your way back into your heels so you could, if you look down, see your toes. Begin to reach your arms all the way up. Take the tension out of your neck, your shoulders, and then fire up the high sun beat here. All levels fast. Step the left foot back. And now spin your left heel down, bend into your front knee, warrior one, rise. As you inhale, rise up. Good, so warrior one, you kind of want your left side body to be drawing forward. So I want my chest might engage through the side body. Reach up, look up, inhale. Exhale, hands to your mat. Now to come out of this, you're going to step to the top of the mat. As you inhale, lengthen your spine, halfway lift. Fold tight against your legs. Exhale. Inhale. Reach up. And then hold. One more inhale. Exhale, hands to your mat. Inhale to step forward and practice. So let's go through a standing figure four. So I like standing figure four because it addresses some strength, and also an element of hip opening, okay? So if you need to use the wall, just take one hand to the wall when you do this. Yeah, stand on your left foot and cross your right ankle on top of your left knee. Good. So I am going to begin to lower here. So I'm beginning to bend into my left knee. Take the hands here to the top of this right shin, ankle, knee area. And if this is too much, a hip opener here. Okay, so I'm gonna stay here. If you wanted to go further, you can take your elbows to this place, okay? And you notice the more I lean, hinge forward, the deeper this is for my hip. The more I bend into my standing, more for the standing leg, like the quadriceps, no tension in your neck. And then soften your standing toes. Right? We have a tendency to sort of like claw the mat. You could stay like this or even bring your hands to the mat. Take your head out. One more breath wherever you're at. And then you're gonna, from your pelvic floor, your core, rise. Reach the right knee up and then over the right knee. Could be anytime. We could get cut short anytime. Balance here in your standing figure four. Left ankle over the knee. Hands to wherever you want to take them. If you have blocks, you can even take your hands to blocks. I have mine, but they're over there and I can't get to them. So knee, you could go as low as you like. So just breathe. And then again, soften the standing toes. Maybe you hinge more. This hip, this knee doesn't want to go this far today. Maybe you bend the knee more. I'm just going to stay up here this time. Breathe in. Good. Breathe out. And then pull up and in the pelvic floor of the core. Slowly rise up like as one. And then Tadasana. Good. Come. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Every practice kind of pose. Like I kind of want to do Malasana every single time I practice. If you are working to get your hips down, you can take your seat to a block. That works. Or you could stay up here more and just work to make towards feet a little closer together, toes more to 12 o'clock. Draw the sit bones down, lift the shoulders up, the chest up. Stop in here. Take 2 full breaths. One more in. And then exhale. And then you can use a block or begin to fold here. Now, when you are folding here in this wide stance, you want to, as best you can, soften the back of the neck. So drop the head. If you need to bend your knees in any way, you can do that. Support yourself with your hands someplace. One more breath here. We're going to step your right foot to the back edge of your mat and turn to the long edge of your mat. So we'll do some things from here. Starting all standing poses from a standing posture like this. You don't have to flow through a vinyasa first. So pick your favorites whenever you are practicing at home. Just pick 1 or 2. That'd be great. My favorite is triangle pose. So on my right toes to mat. My left toes are parallel with the front edge of my mat. Straighten both legs. And then I'm going to keep my hips facing you. So hitting left arm straight up. It's all about keeping the hips in line with the shoulders. So as soon as my shoulders want to come forward over here, I'm not in the triangle pose anymore. Okay? So you want to try to stay back here, and then if you can go lower from this space, you go lower from this space. I have a block because for me, I like to use it the outside of my shin. Stay here. Good. Now try to lift and spread your toes and root down into the 4 corners of both feet. So press down here, draw the low belly in. Keep your eyes on your own fingertips. Inhale one more time. Exhale. Now you're going to inhale, rise the long edge of the mat, triangle pose, left side. Hinge forward. I like to say like a teapot. Hinge forward. And then lower the left hand. That's too far right now. To the shin. But so if you have your hand up, be mindful that you're not just resting all your weight here, pressing down on the knee, like hyperextending the knee. Lift up through the core, through the length of the spine. So you should draw the top of the head forward so that you're engaged here. Spread out your toes. Right arm straight up. So I'm not heavy on this shin, but I'm supporting grounding your breath. So really bringing the breath down into like a closing space, right? So the idea is to this more like vital breathing pattern and this more like working breathing pattern, and then to sustain that through the standing postures, through the balancing postures, to really use your breath as a focus, and then to come back down. So there's an element of like grounding, of like sort of landing the plane at the end of a practice. So that's what we are doing here, right? We're doing that with our body, but we're also doing that with our breath, right? Good. So seated forward fold. Or you can use no strap. I'll show you with both. You want to find your sit bones, so rock from side here. This strap isn't helping me anyway. It may feel really good for you. For me, it's distracting because I'm beyond this space. So you may use the strap here and just fold to this degree, okay? But even if you're all the way up here and you're way far away from the toes, resist the tendency to want to just like go like this, because this is not the goal here. Okay? Try to keep your chin off your chest and fold, and with the intention of closing this gap with the belly. And it may happen in a week or 3 or 5, or it may happen in a year or 3 or 5. When I started yoga, I couldn't even sit on the floor, and I couldn't even attempt to fold because I couldn't sit this angle like this. Pose. We haven't done any back bending, so I like to get in at least one back bend. There's camel poses. You could take like a really long cobra from your belly, or you could go onto your back like this and take a bridge. So I'm going to take just demi bridge. I'm going to walk my heels close to my seat. Feet are hip distance apart, and then you'll just lift your hips up, right? Now start to walk the shoulders in towards each other. Press the arms down into your mat. Then engage your core, draw your low belly in, and then start to press down into the heels, lift higher. So be here, breathe in, breathe out. Stay here as you maybe bring your shoulders even closer together. Opportunity to interlace the hands at the low back if this feels good for you, or stay here. And then really press into the four corners of the feet. Isometrically sort of drag the insides of your knees towards each other. So knees stay over the ankles. Then soften your glutes and ignite more of the muscles in your back, your low back, your middle back, your upper back. So you're lifting up towards the chin. Inhale. Yeah, bridge pose. Okay, so just windshield vibrate your knees after that. Feel the sacrum, the low back release. The wall. We did this in another video. We take your feet to the wall and do legs up the wall. Or you could lift your seat up, find a block, and slide it underneath of your sacrum. So I would take my block, or you could be like this. So all we're doing is getting the feet up above the heart. And just take 3. Soften your face and jaw, your shoulders. One more in, and then out. Bend your knees, plant the soles of the feet on the floor. If you have a block, lift up off of it. If you're against the wall, go ahead and come away from it. We're going to take a full body stretch. And since we started with a spinal twist, we won't take one here. We'll try to wrap up the video. I like to also close practice with, you could take a happy baby, right? It's a good closing posture because your hips are ready. You could take another spinal twist, so with the intention of staying for a little while, longer than before. So maybe your first spinal twist is just to take inventory, to take note, and this one is to really give yourself a minute to take whatever you want to take to close your practice to the way that we craft a yoga practice. There is a loose guideline that we like to follow. We wouldn't jump right into back alongside you. You can have your hands over your belly or just take them alongside you. So rock your head from side to side, or your shoulders down. I will stay for just a moment longer just to prepare the body like for rest. And then I will end the video, but know that you can stay in Shavasana. That is parts of the body that are meeting your mat. The backs of your arms, the backs of your hands, your hips, your legs, and the backs of your heels.
Allow everything to just, and then slowly start to deepen your breath. Bring small movements back into your body with your feet, your hands. Maybe bring your knees into your chest. Make your way onto one side. Just pause here in fetal pose. Taking an opportunity to acknowledge your ability to carve out a little time for you, your practice. And then coming up to your seat, to your heart. Thank you guys for sharing with me, for following along, and for all the things, all the love, the light in me.